Hey, this is Alex with the Unbiased Trailblazer podcast. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Unbiased Blazers. There's a link in our bio for our Discord server where you can join in on the discussions, give us takes, give us comments, or simply just join in on a podcast. Also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a review. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are on this podcast. Now, let's get to the show. And as always, Rip City, baby.
3, 2, 1,
0.
0.
Liftoff and the clock has started.
What is up, Rip City? This is Alex with another episode. It's episode 29 of the Unbiased Trailblazer podcast. We have the trio here. We are joined by Fawad and Mike. So for the first time in a while, we've got everybody in here. Fawad, let's start off with you. How was your Christmas break you had going on?
Oh, it was amazing. I did a trip of the West Coast of the US. So I hit up Vegas, LA, San Fran. It was amazing. I had a lot of fun.
Oh, you were all over the place.
Yeah, and I couldn't watch pretty much any Blazers games during that time. I think I watched like maybe the first quarter against I don't even remember who it was now. But
Did
I'm pretty
you,
much out of the loop.
Did you do anything fun in Vegas?
Um, like Vegas was with my family. The rest like I was visiting family. The rest was like sightseeing, but I
Gotcha.
still went to a David Copperfield show in like the Vegas Strip. And then I went to Red Rock Canyon, which was pretty fun as well.
Yep. Yeah, Vegas is a pretty neat place, and I'm sure they're gonna probably have an NBA team here soon, and just hopefully it's not the Blazers.
Yeah, I actually really liked it. Like I would not mind living there at all.
Yeah, it's definitely a wild place. How about you, Mike? How you doing? How was your Christmas break?
Yeah, it was a fun Christmas. A lot of booze, a lot of basketball because being from Portugal, I always watch the games like in the morning and on Christmas and New Year's I get to watch games at like 3 p.m. So it's always fun because
Yeah.
the game starts really early there. So yeah, watched a bunch of teams, too many basketball, but yeah, pretty fun.
How was it for you watching these games that, a lot of the players were out due to COVID? How was it for you? Was it still the same to you?
For me it adds some mystique into the games that for example I've never thought I'd watch the Pacers in my life, but yeah, now Lance Stephenson got a 10-day contract with them, and I watched the game. So yeah, and I enjoy a lot watching Anthony Simons in case of the Blazers, and when he's there, unfortunately he's not starting because of COVID and protocol, but yeah,
I
it's been
I
fun to
could be
watch
wrong, but
more
I think he
players.
is. I think he is starting tonight. So
Yeah, he's starting.
okay. So with that being said, let's just bring up the COVID issue real quick. In the last little short podcast I talked about, we just kind of briefly went over the players that got replaced. As of right now, Nurkic is back, Simons is back. They are both playing. I saw something about Rocco being back, but I don't know if he's playing or not. Do you guys know? I saw that he
Uh,
posted something about being back.
It says
he's not
he's
on the
no
lineup
long.
though.
It says he's no longer on the injury report, so I'm guessing he's active.
Oh, actually, I see him sitting
Um,
on the bench right now, so
Yeah,
he's at least suited up.
all right, that's good to hear.
But we are missing Dame. He will not be playing tonight. He's resting his ab issue. Trying to think
Is
of
that
if there was.
did that flare up again, or is it just like?
I think it's a rest management thing.
Oh, okay.
It looks like we got Chauncey back, and now Scott Brooks has got COVID, so he is now out, and so we're just trading players in and out. But hopefully, what I want to talk about first is with all these COVID issues, it's been kind of strange. We bring in a bunch of G League players to fill in these empty roster spots for the players that couldn't play, and you would think that we would see Greg Brown. We would see him more than we have before. And instead it's the exact opposite. We're not seeing him hardly at all. They're putting in these G League players, and no knock to the G League players at all, but to me, you draft a player, why are you not playing him? I don't quite understand it, and it's especially with a position of need right now where we don't really have any bigs, and Greg Brown is a 4. So it's like, why are we going to believe his name is McGriff, and
Yeah.
he's played decently. It's not a knock that he's bad or anything. It's just, to me, you want to play Greg Brown. You drafted him for a reason. Why you're not playing him and you're giving CJ Ellaby 25 minutes a game, it's strange to me. So do you guys have any opinions on Greg Brown not getting minutes?
Like I said, I didn't get to catch many games, so I didn't even know he wasn't playing, and that's very confusing and frustrating to me because, like you said, you would expect him to get a lot more minutes, hopefully, like being like the real rotation, not just garbage minutes. So I don't know why that is, and I'm just confused.
Yeah, I mean, he really is getting garbage minutes. He played 6 minutes against the Lakers last week, and we got beat by 30. So
did Chauncey or Scott Brooks say anything about that, or did anyone ask them?
So Scott Brooks has been the coach the last 2 games. I didn't hear anything about Greg Brown in any interview. So it's weird to me. Let's see here. We've got McGriff playing 13 minutes. Reggie Perry, who's a power forward, he played 26 minutes. And honestly, they played decently for what you expect. But to me, it's just, you drafted this guy in the second round. You traded to get him. Why are you not at least throwing him out there, especially right now when we're putting in G League players anyways? What about you, Mike? How do you feel about it?
I feel horrible because it's exactly how you say it. We draft a guy, we trade to get specifically a man, and he's getting garbage time, while players that are gonna be here for 10 days are playing like 26 minutes, and he against Utah's Greg Brown gets 1 minute. Like, what the hell is that? While CJ Ellaby gets 18, and CJ Ellaby is also a guy who should be getting minutes, but McGriff got 19, Reggie Perry got 14. So there's a lot of cases of games lately. I don't know what management it is, but
I mean,
it seems weird to me. Not playing
from the
your
little
draft pick.
from the little we've seen of them, I feel like Greg Brown is already much better than CJ Ellaby. So if CJ Ellaby is getting 18 minutes, Greg Brown should be like just up there with him.
I 100% agree. I truly don't know why we're playing Ellaby as much as we are, and we're not playing Greg Brown. And we joined the spaces. I joined the spaces today, and we were talking, and I brought it up. I don't know, and no one else really had an answer either. It doesn't make much sense. Someone said, Greg Brown is kind of like a G League player, and even if that is true, why are we not playing him? We're playing other G League players on a 10-day contract. I mean, unless they're trying to like evaluate if this player is worth keeping on the roster, it just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know, like, seeing what you have in that player, and maybe he performs good, and we decide he could be a trade piece to somebody, or we could decide this is someone we want to try to keep and build up, kind of like we've done with Nasir Little. So it's just weird to me. I don't know why they don't play him.
Yeah, I'll have to put a stop here on the CJ Ellaby hate, because he was the highest plus minus on last game. So
That is true.
man, how can something like this happen? Damian Lillard minus 28 and CJ Ellaby is plus 20. Man, this year already started off. Well, this game was last year, so yeah, last year started off on a
That
buzz.
was to end the year. We got a
Yeah,
plus on CJ.
plus 20 CJ Ellaby.
One
to
thing
end
I
the
want
year.
to talk about, actually, about with the Lakers game. Fawad, you didn't get to see this. Ben McLemore went off in was it the first quarter or the second quarter?
Oh yeah,
a
I
little
saw
bit
the
of
box
both.
score, and he had like
It was
28 or something.
Yeah, I think he in the first he hit like 4 threes,
Yeah.
and then the second he he's played really well too.
Yeah, he actually he shot the most out of everybody. He shot 9 of 22. So we not often do you see another player besides Lillard shoot as many shots as he did, and especially a bench player like Ben McLemore. But really, he was about the only bright spot in that Lakers game. Everything else was very very ugly. Um, you could definitely see the size advantage that they had against us, along with every other game so far.
Yeah.
It's bad.
You know, he's been having a couple of games like this now, like where every one in like 5 games or so he pops off. So hopefully he keeps getting these minutes when we're all healthy again, and I hope he keeps playing as good as he is right now.
Yeah. Speaking of healthy, we have not seen CJ yet, and
CJ
we did.
McCollum, that is.
Yeah. Sorry, CJ McCollum. Yeah, the real CJ. We did get informed that he's healed from his uh collapsed lung. I always want to say punctured lung for some reason. I don't know why I want to make it worse than it is, but he's healed from it. They're working on conditioning and stuff with him. Um, we talked about like maybe seeing once everybody came back from COVID, that's when we would see him, and that's still when I think we'll see him. But in the Twitter Spaces today, when I was listening, I believe her name was Catherine. She brought up a really good point. We know his wife's about to have a kid, have a baby. It could 100% be that he's wanting to make sure he's healthy when that baby's being born. And especially with the COVID outbreak happening right now in the Blazers organization, he might not want to risk not being able to be there when his son is being born. So I think it's a son. I think it's a boy. So I think that makes just as much sense as them just slowly bringing him back. And also, because of it being a lung issue that he's dealing with, COVID does kind of make that a little bit more of a serious issue. So maybe that's another reason is they're wanting to 100% make sure that he's good. How do you guys feel first off just about like Fawad, how do you feel with the baby issue? Do you think that could play a part of why he hasn't come back yet?
Yeah, I never thought about that before, but that definitely makes a lot of sense, and it seems like something CJ would do and something he'd be considering or like weighing into his decision. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense, and it definitely could be why he's taking it slow, or like being a little bit extra careful,
Yeah.
especially like you said with COVID. But also it seems like it could be like a serious thing too, so I wouldn't be surprised if it naturally took this long anyways.
Yeah, and honestly, if that is why he's doing it because of, the baby coming, I don't fault him at all. I would not
Yeah,
want to
me neither,
miss
definitely not.
anything like that just to come back and play 1 or 2 games and then get sick with it. So, I don't fault him at all. What about you, Mike? How do you feel? Do you think that the baby coming could be why it's taking a little bit longer?
Yeah, being the baby or not, I think it's good for him to take a little time off now because it's really not the best time to have lung problems.
Yeah.
Considering the pandemic we don't know how it can affect him, having the collapsed lung and catching the virus. So we don't know how he can react. He obviously wants to keep his family safe at this time, so I can't blame him for missing more games. It's not like we are heavily needing him.
Exactly.
It's pretty much a season to forget. So yeah, he can come back when he feels like it and feels like that it's safe for him and his family.
I mean, first things first is you want to make sure your family is safe, and him coming back early, or coming back even if it's not early, say he's 100% ready to go right now. Him coming back when there's an outbreak happening within the NBA and then also within the organization itself, it truly isn't worth the risk to not be able to, one, be there when his child's born, and then two, the possibility that he get his wife sick, or even worst case that the baby gets sick from it. So I 100%, if that is even, it has to be part of the factor, and I don't blame him one bit. So I just was, I never thought about that, and when she brought that up in the spaces tonight, I was like, that like makes total sense.
Hmm.
Something Mike wanted to talk about real quick. Mike, I'm gonna let you go ahead and announce this because I know it's something we've been talking about
Ooh.
for a while.
Yeah, we just surpassed a huge milestone last game. And I think the Rockets helped us surpass it. Let me just check. Uh, yeah, 2 games losing by just 10 points. So that makes us the worst team in defensive rating in the league. We finally broke the record, and by 0.01, we are the worst defensive rating team in the league. And if you look at us playing, it's not surprising.
Not at all.
It is still surprising to see like so many tanking teams, and to know that we are actually trying and we still are conceding way more points than them.
We're actually trying and we still suck.
Like
This is
you just
depressing.
look, the Blazers are 30th, then like there's the Detroit Pistons up there, and the Rockets, Orlando Magic, Wizards. Like what the hell?
I mean,
Like these teams are like literally conceding points because they want to concede points, and we are trying and concede more points than they they should be watching more Blazers games to see how can they take
See how it's done.
and concede more points. Yeah,
Let us show you how to lose a game. Yeah, I mean,
absolutely amazing.
we made the joke that it can't get much worse, and unfortunately, we are very wrong. It can get much worse. Just off the top of my head, that last game against LA was embarrassing, and I know that we're missing, some key players, but LeBron was doing whatever he wanted. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was surprised he came back in the fourth quarter when they were up by 30.
Yeah.
But he came right back in, and it was just like he whatever he wanted. He could have probably. I swear to you, I think he could have had 100 points if he wanted to. If he decided this is a game, I'm just gonna shoot every time I get the ball. He had no problem scoring. It did not matter, and there was nothing we could do about it. There was no player that could stop anybody, and it was ugly. So that last in defensive ratings is 100% accurate right now. And I'll be honest with you, to me, the more this season goes on, the more this season is lost. I don't at this point I don't think any trade is going to make a difference. And
yeah,
I think Dame knows that. I think a lot of the Blazer organization knows that, and it's just the fans having to accept that and know that this season is lost and it's over with. Um, I still am under the thought that we should rest Dame a little bit, but we all know that that's not going to happen if
he
he
is
has
resting
any say
tonight
in
though,
it.
at least.
True. I mean, for a long period of time.
Yeah.
We all know, unless it's his choice, that's which he probably would never choose to do that. So I think our best bet is just to make some moves that are going to help us next year. And this, even if we were to make trades, and even if we were to make the playoffs squeak in, it's going to be a repeat of the bubble. We're just going
Yeah,
to get
and
tossed in the first round.
yeah, and we don't have our pick if we make the playoffs either. So
True.
I'm always like very against tanking. I always want to like try as hard as possible, but there's not a lot of hope left for the season, and another first round exit as like the 7-8 seed is not going to do anything for us. So I've already prepared myself to miss the playoffs.
Mhm.
I might be getting ahead of myself, but the next thing to look forward to is whether Dame's going to be here next year or not, and then go from there.
Well, and I think we're pretty lucky with the success we've had as far as making the playoffs and being a decent team for the last 10 years.
Yeah, we have the
Um,
longest active playoff streak in the league.
So for everyone to be freaking out that this season's not going the way it's going, we could be the Pistons. We could be there's a lot of teams that I would not want to be compared to what we're having to deal with this year. This is more of a norm for a lot of teams where it's not for us. So I'm at least thankful that we have been successful. Maybe we haven't made it to the championship, and we don't have a title to show for that in the last 10 years, but the
Yeah,
last
for
the
me,
last 10 years we've been competitive.
it was last year, especially after the playoffs, where I was like, it kind of broke me, and my optimism for this season wasn't as high as the others, and I spent that off season like being thankful for our run. Um, like over the last few years, and especially the 2019 playoffs. So I in my head, I was like, I'm happy with what we've done up to this point, and if this season sucks, which it has, I'm fine with it. And if it's good, then that's just bonus. Like that's how I've been, so that's why I'm not freaking out as much as some other people because I've been preparing myself for this. But yeah, from here on out, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm just thankful for what we had. A lot of teams, like you said, they don't have that. Like, look at the Kings. They haven't made the playoffs in
Exactly.
what, like 15 years, let alone win a series, win two series, and go to the Western Conference Finals. Like, we we've done good. It's not championship or bust, in my opinion. I'm happy with the Dame era.
Oh, for sure. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, kind of got distracted here. What a block by Dennis Smith Jr. on Trey. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, go for it,
my
Mike.
my focus is too on seeing if Dame will stay. A lot of question marks right now on if tanking is an option because we don't know if we can tank and compete next season. We don't know if this is the last year we can really try to compete in a while. So, but yeah, as for what I said, there's teams that haven't made the playoffs since like some fans were born. So,
You're not
that
wrong.
that's more depressive. So, so yeah, we'll see. My right now my focus is to guarantee that the roster is happy, that next year is
Yeah.
better, that we don't go and make a roster to be good defensively and become the worst team defensively in the league. And yeah, my focus
And
on that right now.
I'm an optimist. So even though we are the worst, sorry, defensive team in the league, bright side is we literally can't get worse anymore. We said it at 27, we said it at 29, but this time it actually means something. We literally cannot get worse.
Well, I think the goal of this season is to make sure Dame's happy. Um,
Do you
but
think we've been succeeding?
I, I honestly, Dame's not an idiot. He knew that this season was gonna be rough, and I
He warned us
think,
too.
yeah, I think as long as we make some kind of effort to get better, at least for next year. It doesn't have to be some crazy trade that's gonna, expect us to win now, but I think we'll know a lot by the trade deadline if we've made moves or not. What this outcome's going to be. I have a feeling if we don't make any trades at all and trade deadline passes, Dame's not going to be happy.
Yeah.
Uh, and and that's the last thing you want is for him to not be happy because then the only piece that really has held this team together for 10 years is now probably not committed as much as he has been. And like he's always said, he wants to stay here and he wants it to be a team that's, competing for a championship and not making any move with what we've seen so far this year is the exact opposite of trying to compete for a championship. So, with that being said, we want to talk about one last thing. And Lucas brought it up in Discord, so I want to shout out Lucas real quick. It's the beef that's going on with Lillard and Jason Quick. Fawad, like he said, he's been away for so long. He said he didn't even know anything about this. So, to kind of summarize it real quick for anybody that doesn't know, Jason Quick had wrote an article about the idea of the Blazers trading Lillard and moving on from him. And short version of that is essentially what it was is that, Dame isn't going to help us win. So, isn't the piece that we need anymore to help us win. So it's time for us to move on from him and try to rebuild. And obviously, we all know how much effort and, time Lillard puts into staying here. And that rubbed him the wrong way. And after, I believe, after the Charlotte game, I think it was, because we ended up winning that game, there was the media interviewing Lillard, and every time Jason Quick asked him a question, he kind of got like really short answers, and he didn't seem very happy. And then other media people would ask him questions, he would kind of elaborate a little bit more. And then someone asked him if there was something wrong, if he was mad, and I was gonna try to summarize his quote, but you can't really summarize it, so I'm just gonna read it
Yeah.
real quick. He said, so the media, I can't remember who it was, asked him if he was mad or if there was an issue going on. And he said, "I'm happy we won the game. That's what we came here to do. I felt happy throughout the game, after the game, in the locker room I felt happy. But when I come here and I've got to answer questions and I've done so much in my career, you know, specifically in Portland, I've given everything. I've never made an excuse. I've never disrespected any of you. I've never not given you guys time. And just when our team is going through tough times, and is a little bit of a struggle, I see certain people not giving me the same respect. So that's why I'm a little irritated in here. But with my team, I'm happy with what we just did." So essentially, he's saying, he's not happy with the articles that are coming out, and a lot of people are thinking it's having to do with Jason Quick. And then on top of that, he then kind of crazy. He then posts a picture of himself on an exercise bike, and he posted, "It's always a snake close by when you're doing work." And in the background of where he's working out, you can see Jason Quick sitting right behind him. So another little shot at Jason Quick. And honestly, and actually, I just saw this. Jason Quick actually responded to that about the post game press conference, and Jason Quick said, "I think it's unfortunate, and I know they were directed at me. It's never a good feeling when you hurt someone's feelings without trying to, but I can't tell him how to feel. I can only try to understand it, and I don't understand it, so it's unfortunate." So Jason Quick is aware of it, and you know, we were lucky enough to have Jason Quick on a podcast, and I don't think what he was saying, I don't think he was trying to say it as disrespectful. And I know it's easy when you're going through issues and you read something like that to take it as disrespect, but I truly don't think he meant it that way. I think he meant, just as a journalist, maybe the Blazers need to consider moving on, and I'm sure everybody's probably thought that at some point this year. Like, maybe we do need to just blow everything up and move on. But Lillard clearly isn't happy with it. So I'm just curious what your guys' thoughts on that were. Mike, do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, it's sad to see because it's kind of a little bit of the community falling apart. Even though a lot of it um has to be a speculation because there's nothing that we can confirm that there's rocks in their relationship, but it's looking that it is affecting them. The comments, the article that Quick made, and but at the end of the day, that's Jason Quick's job. He makes articles
Exactly.
for that people want to read, and people for sure want to read it, and he writes it, and I read it, and it was it was an interesting article to read, but I don't know if the article was about me, how I'd feel. Um, I don't think the article was damaging Dame's image in Portland. He said he has done a lot for this franchise, and that was never discredited in the article. But I think he took to heart the Quick saying he's not the winning piece here in Portland. But the only way to argue that is to win, and we haven't done that in a while. So yeah,
Well,
I'm kind of on the fence here, but I kind of, if I have to pick one side, I pick Quick because he's doing his job at the end of the day.
yeah, and
So is Dame.
honestly, yeah, I mean, honestly, Jason Quick and Dame are close, and they spend a decent amount of time together. So I'm sure it probably does kind of hurt Dame's feelings reading that. But like you just said, that's his job to put out articles. And truly, I would be lying if I said I haven't thought about, like, what maybe we should blow things up. Then we could
Yeah,
get a lot for Dame, and And I'm one of the biggest Dame fans out here, and it's like I don't want to see him leave, and I do think he can stay here and help us. But everybody's thought that at least at one point, like what if we did do that? What could we get? So I don't think it's crazy. What about you, Fawad?
Yeah, like you said, I didn't know this was even a situation until like an hour ago. So I didn't get to read the article that he wrote or like know anything other than what you just said right now. Um, but yeah, I'm basically on the same page as you guys. I don't really blame Quick too much because like it is his job, and even though I haven't read the article based on like his previous articles and like just like the last several years, I know that he um holds Dame in like a really high regard and he respects him a lot. So I would be surprised if the article was written with any like ill intent or anything like that, or like he was blaming Dame for anything. I think he was probably just doing his job and um saying what like exploring options for the team. And like you said, like I've thought about it as well for maybe like for Dame's sake, it might be better for him
Exactly.
to be traded and go somewhere else where he can be appreciated more. So again, I haven't read the article, but I would be very surprised um if it was like if it was malicious or anything. But at the same time, I don't blame Dame at all. I don't think either of them are in the wrong. Like if someone's talking about you um in any way that like you don't like, you're not going to feel great about it. Like even though maybe he does understand that it is his job, but that doesn't mean he has to like it, and it's just a messy situation regardless.
Yeah, and you brought up a good point. We've talked about it before where if the Blazers aren't making an attempt to win a championship, then what he has done for us, it's only right to send him somewhere that can give him a chance at that. Um, so like you said, even for him being traded might not be, a terrible thing. Obviously we all want it to be here and we want him to stay here, but I do get it. I do get why he's frustrated. I get why Jason Quick wrote the article. I mean, I like you said, I think they're both rightfully upset and confused at the same time. Fawad, Mike, do you guys have anything else you want to add before we wrap up?
Um,
I can start. I just want to highlight Ben McElmore. We are recording this during the game, and he's already balling again.
Yep.
And shout out to Dennis Smith Jr. Man, man. I don't know what it is about him, but I just love watching him play. He always does. He always does the right play. No pun intended. Because he was the do the right play highlight. But yeah, great passes. Ben McElmore's already balling. Anthony Simons 11 points. So yeah, this game is looking good. I wasn't expecting that.
yeah, and we're
Yeah,
up 8 on the Hawks, which
I
are a
was just gonna
decent
say
team.
we're up 8, so that's surprising. Especially without having Lillard. So yeah, it's gonna be a good game to watch, and hopefully we come out with a win because right now we need it.
I was about to say Hawks are like a good team, but they're 12th seed in the East, so that's really surprising to me. I thought they would have been a lot better.
They have
But
good players, they're just not
yeah,
winning.
but I just remembered something else that I did want to quickly talk about, or actually ask you guys about, since I haven't seen the games myself. But um, of the 10-day guys that we've signed, I don't know, I think there's like 2 or 3 of them. I'm not even sure how many. Are there any of them that impress you guys and you think we might keep around or bring back maybe after the trade deadline? Or that's worth giving a second 10-day to at least?
For me, not really. I didn't really see anything overly crazy. Honestly, I like Trendon Watford more than I like any of the G League ones that came in. So I guess if I had to pick one, Perry looked good the last game against. I think it was against the Lakers that I really paid attention to him. So out of all of them, the Reggie Perry would probably be my choice.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat there. There's no players I'd sign a contract again. Not because they were horrible. They kind of did their role. They just came and
Mhm.
fill in, played some. They actually stride. But I look at other teams like 10-day contracts, like Stanley Johnson at the Lakers or Lance Stevenson or players that actually contribute and can score and can defend. And I look at what we signed. It is just pretty dull compared to that.
Very strange
So
the choices they made.
yeah, it's just players, it's just basketball players. Yeah, they can fill, but can they go and score 20 or do an amazing defensive game? They can't. If I had to choose one, it would be Reggie Perry too. But I wouldn't sign anyone. I would rather let other teams 10 day expire and sign those.
Yeah. Or just, maybe play Greg Brown a little bit more.
Oh yeah, or that.
Yeah, it's weird. This is for sure the first time that most NBA fans know a lot of G League players because I can tell you for sure I knew maybe like one or two from past years. And with COVID, we all are now more aware of G League players and they're playing a much bigger role than they probably ever have in their lives. So it's very strange to see.
At least it's good for them. Like the young guys get a chance to
Sure.
show off their talents to the league, and I think one or two guys, I think maybe only just one, they actually got like a real NBA contract. So good for them.
Yeah, I mean, any chance you can play in the NBA, I would jump all over that. So,
Yeah,
Yes, lots of guys had probably had their dream come true.
anything else you guys want to talk about?
I'm good.
All right.
I'm
Well,
good too.
I appreciate everybody listening. Fawad, Mike, thanks for coming out tonight. It's bedtime for Mike, so he needs to hit the hay.
4 a.m. man.
But other than that, it's about to be halftime. It looks like we're up 12, so that's encouraging. Um, Other than that, I hope you guys have a good night. Thanks for listening, and as always, Rip City, baby.